Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the next episode of the Balanced Vibes podcast. My name is Kirsten. Today's podcast episode is actually my Instagram live recording, a replay. And on this episode, I'm talking about what are the most important things that you absolutely have to have figured out when it comes to your fat loss and muscle building efforts. And then also, what are some of the things that people sometimes tend to pay too much attention to, but it's not really worth it as much. So make sure to listen to this episode. I'm telling you about the three categories, and they are in order of priorities, really. The first category is going to be the things that you have to have down if you want to have a successful muscle building and fat loss journey. And these are things that are going to give you most of the results. And the second category are going to be the things that are also important, but not until you have mastered the first category. And then the third one is going to be the things that are really pretty insignificant, but people sometimes tend to worry too much about them, sometimes even get obsessive over them. And these are the things that matter only, I don't know, maybe 5%, if that. So make sure to listen to this episode and learn what those things are so that you can get started with doing things the right way. Also, wanted to remind you that my Fit and Fueled webinar starts on Tuesday, September 14th. And on this webinar, you're going to learn exactly the foundations that you need to get started with your muscle building and fat loss, because there are some things that you have to have down. You have to know your calories, you have to know your protein, and these are the most important things, and you can see great results from these two. And we're not going to overwhelm you with all the other things, how many grams of fat, how many grams of carbohydrates you should be getting. On this webinar, we are talking about the foundations, because this is really where your results start from. This is going to be day one, your calories and your protein. And day two is going to be your workouts. So I want to teach you exactly what kind of workouts, in what way, how do you have to do them, what the structure should look like, so that you can stop wasting your time on things that don't work and start getting results using the things that actually work. So make sure that you sign up for this free webinar, 100% free. It's 2 days, Tuesday the 14th, Thursday the 16th. And I really hope to see you there. I know that you're going to walk away with so much knowledge that you probably didn't have before. So sign up and start getting results. All right, that's it for now. Let's now check out today's episode.
What is up? It's Kirsten here, and I wanted to come here today and share my thoughts on the order of priorities when it comes to your fat loss and muscle building results. And more specifically, we're going to talk about your diet. So I'm going to leave the workouts out for now. You probably already know that you should be doing strength training if your goal is to change your body composition and have more body more muscle and then less body fat. But today I want to talk about more specifically about the diet. Okay. So the diet, what are the things that are really, really important that you have to really nail? And then what are the things that are really not worth paying attention to? And people kind of tend to overemphasize those things or like worry too much. So there are three categories that I'm going to talk about today. So the first category is going to be the absolute essential things. The second is going to be yes, it is important, but not until you have the first ones down. And the third category is the ones that people worry about too much, put too much attention, but they're not the big dial movers. Okay. So let's get started with the first one. So the order of priorities, the first things that you want to have right if you have a muscle building and fat loss goal is your calories. They have to be right for you, and they have to be so that they fuel your body, but also that there's a little bit of deficit. I'm not talking about like 25% of deficit. This is not what you want to do. There's got to be, let's say, about maybe like 15% of deficit, maybe 10% of deficit. Depends on a person, sometimes 20%, but it should be a reasonable amount of calories. It shouldn't be like huge cut, and your calories have to be right for you. And I teach you this in my Fit and Fueled webinar, which starts next Tuesday. This is a 2-day webinar. I'm going to teach you exactly how many calories you should be eating if you have a muscle building and fat loss goal. The second thing that goes into the same category, the most important things, and this is your protein. You have to eat enough protein. Without that, it's very difficult to build muscle. If your body weight is, let's say, 160 pounds and you track your food, you're like, oh, I'm getting 80 grams of protein. You cannot, like, your muscle building is very difficult. Your muscles need protein to be able to grow and also to recover from your workouts, and all that kind of stuff also, so that your workouts are strong enough. You do need to have protein. And then the third thing that goes into the same category that kind of brings these things together is consistency. Okay, so that's why in my Fit and Fuel webinar, which again starts on Tuesday, I'm talking about the importance of these two things: getting your calories right, getting your protein right, and then getting really consistent with these things before you start adding the rest of the stuff. Okay, so make sure that you have these two down first. Then let's talk about the second category, the things that come after you have the first things right. Okay, so this is when we start thinking about, okay, what should my carbohydrate and fat portions be like? Of course, you are eating carbs and fat the entire time when you're tracking your protein and calories, but in the second phase, you're also going to add, okay, more specifically, how many carbs should I be eating? How many fats should I be eating for optimal results? If I have a fat loss and muscle building goal, I have to have these things balanced. And by the way, a lot of people don't realize that, but it is important that also your carbohydrates are high enough for muscle building. It's very difficult. If you've ever tried the keto diet, you know that your energy goes down and your muscles just don't have the fuel. So you do need carbohydrates. So fats and carbs, right? And then also consistency with them. Another thing in this second category, the order of importance, is that you have to start carb cycling at one point. The sooner you start it, the better. So carb cycling essentially is where you have a couple of days a week when your carbohydrates are significantly higher than they are the rest of the 5 days. And so many people don't know that. And this is the reason why they often hit either a fat loss plateau, they stop getting results, they develop hormonal issues because they are in a constant deficit. So what carb cycling does is that it brings you out from that constant deficit, even if it's for 2 days a week, and then it puts you in a so much better place. Your metabolism will be a lot healthier. Excuse me. And then the other thing that you want to do definitely is diet breaks. Another thing that a lot of people don't do, they get on a deficit, they calculate the deficit calories, and then they stay there for like 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, always eating those low calories, no carb cycling, no diet breaks. And this is when they start losing results. You know, they're not making progress anymore. They're not decreasing body fat. They're not gaining muscle because they are not doing carb cycling and diet breaks. So now I have gone over the two first categories in the order of importance. I'm going to go them over real quick again. So the highest priority, if you have fat loss goal and muscle building goal, is to get your calories right and protein right, and then get really, really consistent with these things. Okay, so the second category is that now you're going to add fat and carbohydrate tracking and make sure that these two are balanced too. And then you're going to add in some carb cycling and diet breaks. And then now we get to the third category. And the third category is the things that so many people focus too much on and actually don't matter as much as they think. So some of the things that are there are meal frequency. So how many times a day should I be eating? Is it 3 times a day? Is it 6 times a day? And actually last week I started with a new client and this was her question. How many times a day do you want me to eat? And honestly, it doesn't matter, like if it's 3 times, if it's 6 times. Some people do better with 3 square meals, others do better with more like a little more snacking style, 6 times a week. The only thing that I don't recommend is eating just once or twice a day, because it's very difficult to get your calories in. It's very difficult to get your enough protein in too, because if your goal is to say is to eat, let's say like 140 grams of protein, then getting 70 grams per meal is pretty difficult. And if you only eat twice a day, then this is what's going to happen. The second thing that is not really worth, putting so much effort into thinking is like, what is my meal timing? What should that look like? Is it okay to eat after 6 p.m.? Is it okay to eat before noon? Yeah, these things are okay. You can eat when you want. You don't have to do intermittent fasting. You don't have to wait until noon until you eat. Actually, I don't recommend that you wait until you eat, like you wait until noon. Definitely not necessary. Also, the rule that everything you eat after 6 p.m. is going to turn into fat magically, it's absolutely not true either. So meal timing is not as important as you think it might be. Eat regular normal breakfast, eat normal lunch, eat normal dinner, but the times that work for you. Have some snacks if you need to. So there's no hard strict rules that are like, okay, if you break this timing rule, you're not going to get results. This is not how macros work. The next thing that people overthink is that they think that they need some kind of special foods. They need to go to the store and like buy I don't know what kind of special things. A lot of times people even think that they need like fat burners and shakes and, some kind of like special brands. It's all marketing. It's all like just buy our shake and you get results. No, eat real food. So the way I like to think about it, think like, would my grandmother know this food, right? And then eat mostly what comes from nature. Carrots come from nature. Your grandmother would recommend that. Cows come from nature. Your grandmother would recommend that. Not recommend, but recognize that. So eat normal foods. Like there's no magic shakes that you need to have in order to lose body fat, body weight. Remember that this is all just marketing. Eat whole, real foods as much as possible. The next thing that is not really worth worrying about is, and this is a big one, I gotta say, is like, what is better? Is there one food that's better than the other? When you talk about rice, for example, is brown better than white? Is one gonna give me better results than the other one? No, it's not really that big of a deal if it's brown rice or white. Yeah, if you want to go into like details, we can say that, yeah, brown rice maybe keeps you fuller longer. It has a bit higher fiber content, or white rice is easier to digest. But if you feel better on one than the other one, eat just that one. It really doesn't matter. Same thing really with like potatoes. Is white potato or sweet potato, which one should it be? Or like sparkling water or not sparkling water, which one should it be? These are all just minor details that really have such a small impact on your fat loss, if any, really. So eat what you like and focus on mostly real whole foods, like I mentioned before too. And then the last thing is supplements. People are very worried about which one should I take? What is the right thing? Is there anything that's absolutely necessary? Again, pre-workout is one good example. Like, which one should I have? Honestly, you don't have to have any pre-workouts. I never take pre-workouts. If I want like a little bit more energy, I might do caffeine, but not always. Definitely not a daily thing for me. So worrying about like pre-workouts or like the next new cool thing that everybody's talking about, should I be getting it? Honestly, there's only a couple of supplements that I think are important for most people. Magnesium, most people need some extra magnesium because about 75% of people are deficient in magnesium. And then also what I personally recommend, if you have a muscle growth goal, then creatine. I like creatine. And then the other things, all the nitty gritty, unless you have like some kind of you got labs done and then they showed you that you are deficient in this, or your doctor recommends, then of course by all means do it. But just to like hoard a ton of supplements just hoping that this will help you to lose fat and build muscle faster is probably not a good idea. I remember I used to have so many supplements. My cabinet was full of supplements. I used to take like 10, 12 things every day, and now what I take is magnesium. I take creatine and one other thing that I need for my health, but that's really it. And honestly, a lot of it started changing when I started taking ice baths, because I just started feeling so much better. I don't feel the need. I don't see that my results are worse because I'm not taking those. If anything, I'm saving a lot of money because I'm not spending it on like tons of supplements anymore. So this is it. And just to go over again, a couple of things that are most important to really have those nailed are your calories and proteins. This is where everything starts, and this is where I'm teaching also how to know your needs, your calorie and protein needs. If you have a muscle building, weight loss goal, fat loss goal, then join me on my webinar. It starts next Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. So it's a 2-day webinar. First day, we're going to over your nutrition, and you're going to learn exactly what is your unique profile, like what should that look like, how many calories and proteins just for you uniquely, because every plan should be customized. You just can't do random stuff and hope that works. You just took somebody else's numbers and hope they work. They are likely not going to work because they're not you. You're unique. Okay, so this is the first day. The second day is going to be all about strength training, because I want to teach you what to do in the gym or at home if you have a home workout. Stop doing those YouTube videos that are like 30 minutes and just bouncing around and just doing a little bit of cardio and then some more cardio with added weights. It's not going to give you the results. You can get so much better results if your workouts are organized, and I've experienced it myself, and so many other people have experienced too. All my clients are following a specific plan, and this is how you get your muscle building fat loss results. So I hope to see you in the webinar. The sign up link is in my bio. This webinar is completely free, 100% free, and I know you're going to get so much out of it. So I can't wait to see you there. If you have any questions you want to ask me, just let me know. Send me a DM or comment any of my posts here on Instagram, and I hope to see you next Tuesday. Take care. Bye-bye.